Welcome to Senior Insights. It's dark in here, isn't it? The reason it's dark is because this is the third time that I have recorded this video, so it should be super duper wonderful. And I'm still smiling, so that's a good thing. So welcome to Senior Insights. My name is Cynthia, and today is National Teddy Bear Day, and we are going to talk about teddy bears today. I know it's probably not a very exciting subject, but I think probably we all had teddy bears at one time or another. Certainly our children did, and certainly our grandchildren did. So I'm going to go through a little bit of the history of teddy bears, because there's actually two stories about where they originated from. They originated basically at the same time. There's an American story, and then there's a German story. And it was all around 1902, and the American president was Theodore Roosevelt. So Theodore Roosevelt was a hunter, and he went hunting in Mississippi. And I don't know if it was like a hunting lodge or place that they go hunting, but they came across a bear that was tied to a tree or restrained in some way. And he said, "I'm not shooting that bear. That's not sportsmanship. That's totally unsportsmanship-like." So, of course, the news media was there, just like they are now, and they did a cartoon about Theodore Roosevelt and this bear. It was a political cartoon, and it was done by Clifford Barrymore, which is kind of interesting, Barry, and he worked for the Washington Post. I'm going to have to look at my notes occasionally. But there was a New York candy shop owner named Morris Mitchum, and his wife, Rose, I think her name was. They really enjoyed the cartoon. They were inspired by it. So they made a bear, and they put it in the window of their candy shop, and they called it Teddy's Bear. So it was a massive success. It was really well received. I don't know if they had to make more and more bears or whatever and sold them or whatever it was, but it was a massive success. And that gentleman, Morris Mitchum, actually went on to own the Ideal toy manufacturing company. And so he was the one who created the first teddy bear. They chose to call it a teddy bear. Then there's a German story, and that was a story around the same time, 1902, and it was Richard Steiff. He was a nephew of a big toy maker, Marguerite Steiff, and they designed a jointed bear with joints for the hands and legs, and the bear was made of mohair. And it was presented at a toy fair in Germany in 1903, and it was widely accepted and excitedly received. So both companies apparently commiserated and decided to call their bears teddy bears. And so that's when the popularity of the teddy bear really exploded worldwide. There's different kinds of teddy bears. But it's funny, when I was looking for pictures of them, yes, there are different kinds of teddy bears, but in a way, a teddy bear is a teddy bear. But there's the traditional teddy bear. That's the classic cuddly teddy bear with the soft, fluffy fur, with a round head and button eyes. This one has button eyes. Then there were jointed ones. I never had a jointed one, but their arms and their legs would move and be jointed. Sometimes their heads even would be jointed. They were usually made with high quality materials like mohair, which would be popular with collectors. And then there was the plush ones. And those are typically made from synthetic materials, kind of like this one. And they come in a wide variety of colors and sizes, and you can tell this one is a camo bear. Then there's collectible and artist bears. They're often made from premium materials. They're often made limited editions, and they can be quite valuable. They usually use like alpaca or mohair. And then there's the personalized bears. I'm trying to keep him in the picture. Here he goes. Personalized bears, for example, a Build-A-Bear workshop. Well, this happens to be a Build-A-Bear, and it's the only one I could use as an example. But this was given to me by my grandchildren after my husband passed away, and I was very sad. And they went to Build-A-Bear, and they made me this bear. And my son and daughter-in-law were both in the military, so the camo is kind of their thing. And they made this Build-A-Bear, and it had a speaker. It could speak, and it said, "We love you, Nana." And it was the two boys saying that to me to help me, make me feel better. So even though I'm talking about decluttering, I don't think I'm going to declutter this. But the little noisemaker in it doesn't work. It just makes a garbled sound. So I bet you can buy these little voice boxes, and maybe I'll have them recorded again and repair the bear. I'll put it on my list of things to do. But teddy bears were symbolic of comfort, security, you know, like those security blankets. Now they have these little things that they do through their fingers, the silky, they call them silkies and stuff. They're not nostalgic, and they have a connection. Adults have a connection with them. Children have a connection with them. It can be a powerful symbol of cherished childhood memories. So they can also serve as a tangible link to loved ones who gifted you the bear. And that's my grandchildren who gave me this one. They kind of exude or symbolize courage and strength through softness, quiet strength. It's soft, it's cuddly. It uniquely combines these qualities, representing strength and softness and resilience, just like us. Teddy bears are resilient. So now I'm going to tell you a little bit about the different manufacturers of teddy bears. And while we're doing this, or I'm doing this and you're listening, unless you have shut it off already, be thinking about, did you have a favorite teddy bear? Did you even have a teddy bear? Did you have one that was jointed, or one special one with mohair? Did your children have teddy bears? My children had tons of teddy bears. So many teddy bears that I had to have a sling, like a hammock for soft animals in their room, because they were every place. They were on the beds, on the floor, every place. So there were several manufacturers that made the historic and iconic teddy bears. There was Steiff. We talked about Steiff, and that was from Germany. They were founded in 1880, I think, 1880, and they were credited with creating their first teddy bear in 1902. And they're famous for the button in the ear. I think if you think about it, you'll realize the button in the ear. Then another company that I had never heard of was called Mary Thought. I never heard of that, but it's a very famous teddy bear company, and they were in the UK, and they were established in 1930. They are one of the last remaining British teddy bear makers. And I watched a video on them, and they do it pretty much the old-fashioned way. You know, they had die cuts that look like cookie cutters with a pattern made into this metal thing, and then they press it down and it cuts through the fabric. And then it goes, they stack up all the pieces of the teddy bear, and then it goes to the next person who does the next step in the teddy bear thing. But they are made very well, and they're very highly prized teddy bears. Then there was a Herman teddy bear, and that was Germany, and I don't know anything about it except that it was family owned since 1912, and they produced collectible teddy bears. And then there was a Teddy Herman, which was a family member of Herman Teddy. And they were known for high quality plush teddy bears too. And then the Ideal Toy Company in the United States was the one who made the first teddy bear from the man who owned the candy store. And then there was a Knickerbocker Toy Company, which was also in the United States. So those are the primary manufacturers, but there were other bears. I'm sure you remember Boyd's Bears, and you remember Gund. Gund is still around. Boyd's Bears are still around. Build-A-Bear, this is a Build-A-Bear. They still have workshops in malls and in amusement parks and that sort of thing. But I think they're kind of on the way out. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. Then there's Charlie Bears from Australia, and a Russ Berry from the United States was a maker of plush bears too. And they were popular in the 90s, the 70s and the 90s. So our kids probably had them, or we had them. Somebody had them. And then there's some independent or limited run crafters that have been very successful with their teddy bears, but I'm not going to go into those because this is pretty dry stuff as it is. So stiff, to get a stiff bear now, well, to buy it new would be $100 to $500 for a new bear. But if you bought it as an antique because you were a collector, then they can go $5,000 plus. So it's the most collectible teddy bear is the Steiff teddy bear. Then you have Mary Thought, and their prices for new average $120 to $400 for most, and special editions can cost around $1,000. They're extremely well made, and the collectors like what's called the cheeky bear, which must have been a style of their bear. Then the Herman teddies, those are worth about $150 to $600 for a new one. The vintage ones are significantly higher. Now the Teddy Herman is little less costly, $80 to $400, but it's still highly collectible. And teddy bears from the Ideal Company are actually pretty valuable. They can run $500 to $5,000 for a collectible, depending on the rarity of them. And then the Knickerbocker toy teddy bears were probably valued between $100 and $400 for the vintage pieces. So there's also contemporary ones, and I'm not going to go into that, and specialty artist ones, and they get quite a decent amount of money for their teddy bears. So that's basically the story of the teddy bear. Today is National Teddy Bear Day, and you can see why they're so lovable. This one is extremely squishy and soft and cuddly. It smells a little dusty. I would imagine they're pretty hard to keep clean. You can't always throw them in the washing machine. Some of the newer ones I think you can, but some of the other ones, especially with the natural hair, the mohair and angora and all that, you'd have to be pretty careful with. So be thinking about Share with us, did you have a favorite teddy bear? Did your kids have a favorite teddy bear? My son had, his teddy bear name was Jaffo. The first 2 times I did this video, I couldn't remember the name of the Jaffo. But Jaffo was a teddy bear that was given to him by my uncle, so it would have been his great uncle. And he slept with that. He probably still sleeps with it now, and he's almost 50 years old. He loved plush stuffed animals. My other children, like I said, had so many of them that I had to have a hammock to keep them in. So this is the only one I have. I'll probably have a difficult time. I probably will not declutter this. They'll probably be fighting over it. The kids will. When I'm gone. Anyway, I'm going to stop this now because this is, as I said, the 3rd time I've done it. And I want to tell you that I will see you tomorrow. Please consider liking and subscribing and sharing with us your teddy bear story. And I hope you have a wonderful day. And I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.